Okay. Yeah, I think I want to cut the Brainstones for 4th Jace, 4th Opt. Kind of feels like a good change. I have not enjoyed, I think, having Brainstone. Hasn't been awful, but it's been slow. It's like every time we activate a Brainstone, the game's already over. The Jace the Mind Sculptor art, that is where he isn't leaning. Also, I've also just been like dying to draw Jace in like every match. I know it's how it is with control decks, but I had a harder time drawing Jace than I would want to. So let's add one more. Let's do one more Miracles League, and then hopefully have time for a league after this. But what I have to consider, because you can get cards back later potentially. Yeah, you don't want to consider and like accidentally put like specifically your Surveil lands into your graveyard. But we have like no graveyard synergies, so there's just not really any reason you would want that over Opt. Emperor could be nice. I think Emperor's not a playable modern card. At the very least, it's like low tier, just not that good. I genuinely feel like that card has been always overrated, and like people are really hyped because Waffo likes the card a lot. But I just have almost it was like kind of impressive when Murktide was the best deck, and people were not playing around it. But I think the card's always good. Yeah, decided not to add the castle either. Like. Otherworldly Gaze is not. You just can't put a card that doesn't replace itself in your control deck. I understand it's good with Terminus and Counterbalance, but it's just a bad card overall. The Counterbalance resolved. We're up against Sultai Brew. Drilling Grover Confinement the board. What would be the idea behind those cards? You need 4 Counterbalance or 3 be enough. You really want to play the card on turn 2, and you don't mind drawing 2 copies over the course of a game. You could play 2 copies. It would be okay to play 2 copies. But I haven't been unhappy playing 3. I believe the Mox Field's up to date. Maybe I didn't click save. I think it's a living in variant. Okay, so I guess we'll just see what our tough card is. Well, yeah. Tough card is Oust. That out. Maybe we should Omen in response. I would kind of like to be able to Solitude this Grief. And if they Violent Outburst in response, they kind of don't get me so bad, so... Bottom Oust. Up here, Solitude the Grief. Probably a great matchup. My top card was Jace the Mind Sculptor. Incredibly rewarded for adding the 4th copy. Although if my opponent Living In's here, I'm not sure how good shape we're doing. Need a way to put cards up besides Jace? No, we had Brainstone and we just cut it. Oh, yeah, copy 3, but we were rewarded for putting the 4th copy in, right? Because we're twice as likely for that to happen. Yeah, Jace has been so good. I mean, you have to have 4 Counterbalance, 4 Terminus in your deck to really like Jace, but we do. I think Brainstone would have been too ubiquitous for cost 1 to activate. Maybe not if Urza Saga was in the format, but with Urza Saga in the format, yeah. Yeah, I think it would have likely been a little too good. Could maybe have kept the Opt. I think it's okay to graveyard. Because what I really want to draw is a fetch land, so I have some library manipulation for Counterbalance here. They have Force of Negation. My top card is a Terminus. Okay, so we have some insurance against the Shardless Agent here. A little bit less so against Violent Outburst. Okay. Great top deck from our opponent here. Almost certainly the best card they could have drawn. Still pretty ahead, but would lose. Maybe I should cast Opt this turn instead of Kaheera. Could realistically see Kaheera going the distance, and obviously like a whole extra turn to cast it this turn instead of, you know, 5 turn clock instead of 6 turn clock. Once it spins a living end. Interesting. I'm gonna main phase this because of Teferi. Not a counterspell. It's nice. Yeah, lands counter cascade spells. Versus spin spells. Yeah, sorcery speed cantrips are unplayable in this deck. You need to be able to Miracle Terminus on your opponent's turn. If you play sorcery speed cantrips and you find Terminus, you can't Miracle it. You can never Miracle Terminus with Preordain. And this is very much a Terminus deck. If my top card is a Terminus, I'm not going to use my Logic Knot, I guess. Might be wanting to finish my opponent off with Kaheera. Legacy Miracles used to play Ponder. Ponder's different, but Ponder's a little bit different. Ooh. But yeah, you could obviously consider playing the card. But I wouldn't play it after considering it. No, Noxious Rival would not be any good, I think. Wow, I felt super ahead. But they get me here pretty good. Thankfully, they don't have a Cure or Architects of Will. We do have 2 Ousts here. We're at 19 life. Kind of doing okay. This can also just draw a land and hardcast this Terminus. Attack first. Oh, I shouldn't have telegraphed it. I mean, if I attack with Solitude, it's obvious I have the Sweeper, but that's this Lightning Helix. I actively want it to be in the graveyard also instead of the bottom, so this is nice. If they have the third Force of Negation and a blue card as their last 2 cards, good beats. They did not, thankfully. Second, let's put something in graveyard too. Well, the only thing they can put in the yard is Subtlety, and I'd rather be able to go Subtlety there, or Solitude their Subtlety post Living End. What I mean? Is Terminus the hero card the format needs? Yeah, yes. Like I don't like saying that stuff, but it is kind of good against almost everything in the format at the moment, or very good against like the whole format. Let's surveil. Last surveil land. I put that in the graveyard. I want to find Counterspell. I want to find. I could also flip a 4 still. I found Counterspell. I want to find Teferi. I want to find Jace. Why isn't Oust played more? I mean, you don't. I think Oust is good, but I think you mostly just want to play it in like blue-white control variants, which most people just kind of default to Prismatic Ending. Mike, 54 months. It's a long time, brother. Welcome back. I'm pretty sure Modern would be significantly better with Terminus and to a lesser extent Oust banned. Let's go, dude. Love hearing that. Not a crazy thing to say, but I'm all about it. Okay, so they're drawing Grief next turn. 3 cards in their hand. I think it's probably better than Terminus. Yeah, of course, but I think right now in the Scion meta, this is the better card. Okay, so we know my opponent's gonna grief me, so I guess I just have to counter this to keep my life totals as high as possible. How about his Condemn? I think Condemn is worse than Oust. It's like very bad against Yawgmoth specifically. It's like so bad, and like it's so bad against Yawgmoth. Like I just think you can't play it. Top card still Scalding Tarn. Has some utility with 2 counterbalances, even though I don't have a Surveil land anymore. At 20 life points. I also see more Modern play if Modern was an ETB format. Modern is actually not an ETB format. People think of it as, but of all of like the top cards that are being played, like let's think like the top creatures with ETB effects are Bowmasters, which I think you can kind of tank the ETB pretty well, or like clear it off the field to do the thing. It's like Bowmasters, Grief, Solitude, Subtlety. Beyond that, it's all like Yawgmoth, Channeler, Ragavan, Voidwalker, Murktide. Okay, so let's see what my top card is. Primeval Titan's 1, that's true. Okay, so we have a Scalding Tarn on top, so let's go ahead and try to counter this. All the elementals. It's like 3 elementals, or 4, yeah, sorry. But the majority of creatures don't have ETBs. I don't feel like it's the ETB format. Tidebinder, yeah, Tidebinder. There's some obviously, but most of like the super relevant ones don't actually have it. Yawgmoth is kind of ETB. I don't know. It doesn't have an Into the Battlefield trigger. Thought I had library manipulation in this deck. Everything is ETB or cast. It's not though. I just like we're living in the domain zoo format. That deck's like Wild Nakato, Ragavan, Territorial Kavu, Scion of Draco. You know, Reacher, 14 months. Welcome back. Not a lot of point to. I guess I probably just shouldn't use this. Okay, Solitude's my top card. Yeah, I just kind of give my opponent info that I have Solitude on top, I guess. Main phase because of Subtlety. Because if I have Terminus on top, I'm casting Terminus. I'm just giving info away for no reason. Any consideration for 1 Delusion or 4th Jace? I think you just play Jace. Three cards in my opponent's hand. Alright, this time I will not reveal. It's a start. I kind of think I have to bounce Grief, which I don't love. I guess I can bounce Solitude to Solitude Grief. Yeah, that's probably better. Maybe Deluge over the last Brainstone. I have no Brainstones in the deck at the moment. Should Omen first. Oh no! Ugh. Sorry, I wanted to draw or leave the Teferi on top. I think to counter another agent, but I don't think they have any 5s. Funny to find out they have 5s, I guess. Although those are both 2 very good cards to have on top, I'm super happy. Very cool game. I can't think of any 5s. It's a 4. I mean, my opponent knew yeah, they probably should have attacked with everything, right? Because I don't have to chump block to Ent. I guess I should have upkeep Scryed. Although, yeah, I'll just go to Teferi, bounce Omen, and then I can Omen into Solitude. I'm out of fetchables. I can still use the scry. Oh, Street Wraith, yeah, okay. You could have traded with Shardless. Oh, right, I go to 1, trade with Shardless. So that's gotta be a good attack for them. When I bounce the Solitude? I have a Solitude as my top card here. Which they also know about because they Architects of Willed me. Yeah, this deck's pretty sick. I'm really hoping to play it in the Chally this weekend. We have to clear the board, go up to 9. Okay, first peek for free. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Better than all, baby. Unironically, playing 4 Jace the Mind Sculptor in 2024, thinking it's correct. Snapcaster's been back too. Good time to be a modern gamer. Yeah, I think we'll be plussing here. After like one more brainstorm. Casual turn 22. Yeah, you can still fetch to shuffle. Comes up a lot. We'll probably do it here. Unless they've already used their Otawara too. They're on turn 23. I don't see a realistic line to victory this game. Might be pessimistic. Well, maybe haven't read Jace the Mind Sculptor, or you're talking about for them. Because I don't see a realistic path to lose this game. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay that no one knows what Jace does. How could you be expected to remember what this card's text is? I troll too many more cards, I guess. Lots of 1 Storm Giants. I would prefer to not play it. Cards of Polluted Delta. I'll just oust this. Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic is also unironically been very good in the coding deck and the coat deck. It's pretty good right now. What's WinCon? Rejace the Mind Sculptor, please. Oh, it's all dead. My opponent has second Odawara, we lose. Nimble Obstructionist. Yeah, you have 5 cards in your life. I am lagging pretty bad. First Jace ult in years. This is like our 3rd Jace ult this stream. Dude, the Terminus here is chewing up the clock. Yeah, I gotta restart Magic Online. Head on time, by the way. Yeah, the only new cards are the Surveil lands, but the Surveil lands just do make the deck. I was Counterbalance spin versus knockout. Good. I like to play Counterbalance a lot. This card's very, I think, a strong card. Surveil lands help a lot with the Counterbalance being good. I think 2 Subtlety, 3 Solitude. No, let's do 4. I also have to pee. I'm gonna try to be back in time.
Up, it's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike. Up, it's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
On a mission. Submit deck. My mission? There you go. I'm here to save the day. Bye!
Up, it's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Let's go, dude. How much time was left on the clock? Only Jace came back after Living End. Do I evoke Subtlety also? Kind of close. The Subtlety can block the agent. This can exile Troll, and they have 2 Street Wraiths. It puts me if I draw land for Teferi and a place from table. Right, bounce the Street Wraith. Guess I'm not. Never plus. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna maybe let Teferi die and then eat the Shardless Agent. Fuck. Okay, let's double block. It has Street Wraith instead of Ambusher. Weird. I can counterspell the Ambusher. Miracle this Terminus. Easy peasy. Could be hardcasting a lot of stuff though. Bad one to bounce with Grief. Or with Teferi, yeah. Sorry, I should play my land first because of Dispute. They forced pitch Waker of Waves though. Really worried about losing this game, timing out game 3. To cast with Teferi alive. Well, I could have drawn something else off Teferi, like Subtlety, that would have made me want to not cast the Counterbalance that turn. Sorry, I got the concession for the turn skip lag. Very relevant with the Surveil lands, unfortunately. Oh right, Kaheera, sorry. Not the most relevant, I guess, but I just jump it in play. Ariel, 39, let's take a look back. Yeah, 2 or 3 Jace ults today. Including last game. I'm gonna chip block the Wraith, I think. No, don't have main phase. You have a Terminus in deck. Could have Solitude, but I want to keep Dovin's Veto up for Force of Negation. So good. Looks like I did not have all bangers on top of my library. Hopefully I had 2 bangers. I could draw one next turn. Just F6. Like, what are they possibly... Solitude, Teferi, Jace, Terminus. Yeah, I guess they wouldn't have cast that into Terminus. Okay, 3 stinkers instead of 3 bangers. 23 lands, by the way. 3. Gotta play fast. Barely ahead on clock. Is it crazy to cut island for castle? We've run out of fetchables enough times. I don't think you should. I want to cut an island for castle. You can cut like the fetch, but I probably just wouldn't. I could slam Jace, put Terminus on top, lose the game to Force of Negation, top deck lands. I think I'm enough ahead that I don't have to do that. Modest, thanks for the raid. Hope you're doing well, buddy. We're in a tense match here. I need to land pretty bad. I'll keep the Dovin's Veto, though. Why did they cycle that main phase? I'd counter a grief here. If they think I'm on Tidebinder, they shouldn't. I'm on Kaheera. They pitched a living in, notably. Shout out to Consider. Let it resolve. I bought him the Solitude, yeah. Drew one anyways. But I said shout out to Consider because we could have graveyarded it against the living in. Terminus on top. Me, Logic, not this. Bird's really nice to have access to. So, I can't really slam this Jace either. Because it seems so likely they have Force of Negation. And a Cascader. Somewhat of a high chance that they Violent Outburst and Upkeeper Drill Step. Finally found the fourth land and so many looks for it. If my opponent forces this... If they hardcast Force on Dovin's Veto, I guess. Subtlety? Okay. We should have fetched first. I think I'm taking 6 again. Tough game. I can beat Charlotte's Agent, I can't beat Violent Outburst. So if they attack only one Subtlety at Jace, I'll Solitude it. Still can't be Violent Outburst. Could have been more assertive with the Jace. The thing is, I just had like so many looks at land number 6 and missed for so long. Just trying to think over like where we went wrong. It obviously feels like we did go wrong somewhere, but Good game. Channeler back. Oh, I guess I don't have another fetchable white source. It's kind of okay to just Solitude this Ragavan, though. I can play the game fine. Especially having to make like every decision, every game action split speed or instant speed. Didn't feel like there was a lot else I could do differently. Hoping the top of my library was a little bit better than it was. Yeah, let's go for Oust. I may just try to play in a way like Spell Pierce isn't a live card. I may just go like Surveil land end of turn into untap Omen next turn and like Teferi with 2 mana up. I think Roots is better than Seeker or any cards in that shell. I'm not sure. I have a new Roots build that I might play today. I'm gonna replay the Channeler. I like to bait Spell Pierce on the Omen if they do play their land this turn. Okay, they're not playing their land this turn. I guess I'll save the Omen still. Just Surveil, Miracle Terminus, play Teferi Plus since they can't. Me. Bounce Omen next turn. Omen's been so good. We could double burn spelled on the Teferi, I guess. Starts off with a Preordain. 2 cards on top. Red in the ledger. The main phase Omen here. Solid chance I end up bouncing it with Teferi. I just bounced the cutter. Bottom both lands. Find another land. Surveil main phase. It's on top. Plus Teferi. Okay. I don't know that if I minus, they just need to connive for them to kill the Teferi. They have to connive and discard a spell. Jay Composer, 7 months. Hope you're doing well today. Welcome back. Leads on another Preordain. It's taking a while on the connive here. There's a discard Ragavan. 2 cards left in hand. The Bauble does give them Delirium. I will counter Unholy Heat, I guess, if it gets put on the stack. Put on the stack. Obviously would love if my opponent played DRC or Murktide as their last card, since I have Terminus up. Well, I guess they would have seen my Terminus on problem. I don't think we can hear here. Obviously pretty ahead. They still have 3 cards in their hand. Kind of behind on mana. Not sure if I'm countering this Lightning Bolt if I find Counterspell. I think I might as well play Omen of the Sea. I might as well opt here. Did find Counterspell. I think it's a little too likely that they're one of their last 2 cards is a Murktide Regent for me to save my Teferi here. I think I was right. Now, if that last card is a Spell Pierce or Spell Snare, top deck kind of well. They delve in a way that they don't exile all their instants and sorceries, so it seems most likely their last card is another Murktide. I think it makes me want to upkeep sack Omen. But another counterspell, like for that. Get punished seeing this on top, so I guess we'll go Jace, Solitude, Kaheera into hand. Wait, hold on. They cast the Murktide. Did they not have another card in their hand? I thought they had 2 cards in their hand there. I know. Yeah, I'm just looking at that also. You have used heavy play deck box to play mat. I have all the stuff. I've got the deck box, the playmat, the sleeves. I'm definitely a bigger fan of the sleeves in the box than the mat. Like the mat is really cool and compact and like folds, and some people really like it, but I don't like how it doesn't have any art on it. Just like a solid color. So I think not for me on the mat, but I really like the sleeves in the deck box. I know well, someone say they really like the mat the other day. It is very cool. It like folds. It's very compact. Like it magnetizes to the deck box. The Fairy's Pigeon. Happy 12 months. Which heavy play deck box do you prefer? I'm like a little torn on like the one with the window versus the one without the window. I guess that's that's both of them. May want to instant speed Terminus here. Probably hardcasting Solitude instead. Or they don't have the best sleeve longevity of life. Yeah, I've heard that too, but also like I've never like used sleeves for more than one tournament. Like for the last like 3 or 4 years, the only paper Magic I play is tournaments. And I never use the same sleeves twice because they just get dinged up and marked. And I feel like they have a better time not getting marked, but I also just resleeve every time. I encourage you to also, because you may get a game loss for marked cards if you don't. May actually just run it back here. Pretty pre-boarded. What do I do with my used sleeves? I mean, I throw them away. Like, I know it's like I also only play paper Magic like 3 or 4 times a year at this point, but maybe 5 or 6. Probably 5 or 6, but I go through 5 or 6 packs of sleeves. I don't think 5 minutes of Fairy is good in this deck. We started with 3 Jace. We had 3 Jace for a while, and Jace has been just overperforming. So I know it's very, very weird to say, but in your 4 Terminus, 4 Counterbalance deck, Jace is just so good. Is that standard practice among grinders, constantly cycling through new sleeves? Yeah, I think most like Pro Tour players, most grinders do just use should not only do but should use a new pack of sleeves every tournament, because if your sleeves are dinged up, they can be marked. Especially what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're shuffling your main deck, your sleeves get really dinged. I think they get more dinged compared to like heavy play sleeves, which have rounded corners, which is what I love about heavy plays, the rounded corners on the sleeves. But they get dinged up, and your main deck is more dinged up than your sideboard. And the more you play, the more obvious it is that you have a sideboard card on the top of your library. And you can just have people call a judge on you because you have a marked card and you can get a game loss. They're on Blood Moon this game. What possible answers do decks have against turn 2 Silent Flame on play? This deck has Terminus. You can play Pick Your Poison. And is Team Route performing Domain Rhinos or just a variance thing? I don't think we have enough data to answer that necessarily. It is certainly the case that the Domain Rhinos, the Rainbow Rhinos, higher power level, and also certainly true that the less consistent. Just like a lot of things in Magic, power level versus consistent thing. Couldn't one use the cards a bit more carefully and avoid dings? I never have been able to. I don't know. Maybe you can. But there's only so much you can do. Like when you're shuffling, like your cards are gonna get dinged. They're touching each other. Like I don't know if there's a way to perfectly shuffle in a way that you just maintain your sleeves quality forever. I don't believe that this is something possible. Might solve Kaheera in hand here though, so next turn I can go Oust plus Teferi possibly. Especially when you're playing a modern, yeah, you're shuffling like every turn. But I also promise you this: if you go in the last rounds of a tournament, if you look at your deck, if you look at your deck in the last rounds of a tournament, it's going to be obvious what cards are main deck cards and sideboard cards. Like last tournament, my last paper tournament I played was Atlanta, and that's where I met the heavy play guy, and he showed me the rounded corners, and I was also just like reflecting on this, and then I sleeved up the heavy play sleeves for the remainder of the tournament, which was like 4 rounds or something, but it's even the case. What I'm really saying is it's even the case that you should. Like if you want to protect yourself the best possible from game losses and this kind of stuff, it might actually just be best practice to resleeve every day. Yeah, for like F&M and stuff, I wouldn't bother, but I would not do a different pack of sleeves for every F&M. But for especially RC Atlanta was 10 rounds day one. It's 10 rounds of Magic is so much. On the 13. I'm going to I'm about to play Paper Magic. I'm going to go play the Chicago 75K Standard Open, where top 8 get Pro Tour invites to the Pro Tour after Pro Tour Chicago. I've done zero prep. I keep meaning to DM people and forgetting to DM people asking about choices for the tournament, so around to it. People land. I think what I'll do is I'll Solitude the Channeler first, so that my opponent isn't just getting a ton of surveil value off their counter spells. And then I'm going to lead on Teferi, so I can play around Spell Pierces this game. Got a deck locked in. I've done zero prep. I watched Ash do some standard streams, and I've watched Doomlake do some standard streams, and I really have been enjoying watching. I have basically no idea what I'll play, and what else is new? Never know what I'll play. The graveyard, a Flusterstorm. I could play a Jace. I'm gonna try to play around Spell Pierce a little bit. Yeah, I do hear that standard is pretty good. It looks pretty good and fun. Also, I should say I definitely like the look of it. Yeah, so that's not this weekend, but the weekend after. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna message Doom and then my friend standard RC champion, Josh Willis. Ash, Mason, maybe, and I don't know if Jesse's been playing any standard. I'm just gonna message my friends and then see what they say. Lucy's making a friend downstairs. Exile Basic Island here. I guess I did play standard for the for Twitch Rivals. I got some experience. Good enough to keep. And maybe Miracle Terminus at instant speed. I do have a Hallowed Fountain still I can fetch. It's weird that It's weird that top 8 all get invites, but they have top 8 playing Sunday. I would like to book a Saturday red eye if I could dip top 8 with invite. There's just no shot for how long the event is. But I guess you could still dip and just not get the prizes, you know. But also, like, one thing I recommend if you're like for like booking flights and stuff for weekends is I tend to like to book for like Sunday late afternoon, Sunday early evening. A lot of people they like to book for Monday and they have to like pay for an extra night of hotel and they have to like potentially miss an extra day of work. But like I think if you end up making a super deep run, you end up top editing this event, you end up, you're gonna end up making a lot of extra cash that you can just afford to like buy a new flight. How I always think you just buy a new flight with the prize money, but then you get to save money because you don't have to book the extra night of hotel and you don't have to miss the extra day of work. Yeah, then also just you get like especially for me these tournaments are pretty draining, so just getting to come home and chill is so valuable. I could opt Miracle Terminus, but I've been playing around Spell Pierce this whole game, so like let's not just stop playing around it, I think. If I left the island on top instead of the archive, we could have played around it a bit better, so maybe that was better. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and surveil here. Another one seems correct, especially with this opt in my hand. So now I need to think: do I play this archive or not? I think no, because I can still Jace pay for Pierce or Jace Counterspell without it. I just drive, yeah. Living in Texas, it is it's obviously really nice to live in Dallas, where the majority, like, there's a lot of good paper tournaments here in Dallas. Okay, I'm gonna go for Terminus on their turn on top of Jace Counterspell up. There's a lot of good tournaments here, but if it's not local, I have to fly. Second Flusterstorm, huh? That got pretty bad. Yeah, I'll be at the 100 burn this year. Wouldn't miss it. We've not had our Miracle Tidebinder yet. Okay, we successfully played around Spell Pierce one, but need to find Solitude or other Terminus probably to catch back up. Maybe Teferi. 2 Teferis. How about yes? Yes to top. They could maybe Ragavan me here. The score is Blood Moon, so I'll be fetched around that this game. Trains don't seem to be a thing. Yes, yeah, it'd be really nice if I could like catch a train and like chill on my way. I was thinking about it for the next like California tournament. There's actually like a kind of cool train line, where there's a train line from Dallas to Los Angeles. I thought might be interesting to try. Play Murktide? I guess they must have seen those Terminus. Wow. We'll just counter this. How many Terminuses have I used? 3. The 4th one in the deck somewhere. Opponent's fighting hard. A lot of Ousts and Solitudes in the deck too still. Hardcast a Solitude this turn maybe. Why not play Hall in the deck? There's a lot of basics. I'm not sure exactly what basic lands have to do with Hall, but I haven't missed it. There's not a single land in this deck that I would choose to cut for Hall of the Storm Giants. Kind of simply put, right? A miracle. They're not out of warring, probably. That's in play. So they have Subtlety in their hand. That was Cryptic Code Hammer list. So if I was gonna play Hammer, I would definitely play Coat. I would probably play 2. I would maybe just play 1. I'd be playing 2 for now to kind of evaluate it. I thought Coat was really, really good in Hammer. It definitely felt like something the deck should be playing. Would I be playing Hammer in the current metagame? No. I think Hammer is just not a good deck, kind of in general, to be honest. Like, there's just so many cards in the format that are so common that it's weak to, but especially with Yogg and Titan being so popular, it just feels like such a poor time. Oh, no, and they punted bad, I guess. Although they do have the... maybe this is, like, sick bluff that they have Subtlety. Like, I think they're gonna trick me into not playing my Teferi yet. Could have been like just the sickest bluff. I think they must have the Subtlety though. Yeah, like if that was a bluff, it would be like the best bluff I've maybe ever seen on Magic Online. So, shout out if that's what it was. Let's go bottom, top, draw the Oust. Then sack an Omen. Omen is so good. 2 lands. We can miracle. Some card of island. Another land. And another Fable. So we are still fighting. Good to not be in bolt range. So I will cast Teferi Time Raveler. Somewhat expect to have a penalty here. Counterspell. Come on, 2-drop. On them both. Yeah! Yeah, the big reason for Oust is Scion of Draco, but it's I think it's just also good amount of Murktide. It's kind of nice with Counterbalance sometimes where you can like oust their thing, know they're drawing a specific mana value. But I just think it's the best 1-mana removal spell we could be playing. Format at the moment. They choose not to use Fable's ability, so they're not drawing into their channeling this turn. Now they're tapping 4 mana to main phase of Subtlety. My top card is a Counterspell. It's obviously main phase, right? I've got Teferi. Flame. Won't be making that mistake twice. And that's why I asked. Yeah, and that's why I know you didn't know, and that's why I answered. Welcome to the stream, baby. We're also in game 2, opponent's got 5 minutes on the clock. I think I'm gonna Omen first here. I have another Terminus still. I also can like hit Oust with Counterspell up. Any reason we're not upkeeping our Omens? Well, we can play mostly at instant speed here. And then, like, we also have a bunch of Jace the Mind Sculptor still in the deck. I want to be able to like use my Jace the Mind Sculptor if I draw instead of having already tapped 3 mana. I guess we're hoping they have another Subtlety in their hand. I'm gonna go ahead and counterspell this. Bouncing Fable is a little rough. Let me scry 2 here. Bounce the Fable. I just have a 1 on top. Be a little nice. Likely gonna have to bounce the token. Let's save the Thundering Falls. Winning this game might be tough, actually. I don't know how aggressively I need to start plussing, but I'm also like, I think I have like 2 more Solitudes in the deck, but they're at 34. I think I can brainstorm at least one more time. It'd be better if I use the falsies for the counterbalance. So I needed to use the Teferi, so I had to like stack the 1 drop 2 down, I think. I can do that this turn. Well, the second counterbalance is kind of nice. Gosh. I guess. Am I gonna bounce the? I need to start plussing this this Jace really soon. That was not a blind flip that I brainstormed. Okay, they just concede. I guess they also have like 4 minutes on their clock, and then that was game 2. Somehow easier. I think Counterbalance is better than the Narset package. I mean, I've been really liking this build, yeah. I don't know if I would say it's better, but I think if you're playing like Omen of the Sea and Opt, like the counterbalances are really good, and I think Terminus is like a ridiculous card at the moment. It's like Terminus is kind of like unreal how good it is. Draw against Murktide this time. I do think it's a good matchup. I think I'm going to go for end of turn surveil instead of main phase surveil against Ragavan here. You lose, yeah. Obviously, sometimes you lose on the draw against a monkey. Would I consider Terminus with lesser top deck manipulation? I sure wouldn't want to have with less. But, you mean, you can consider it. I think I have to graveyard that since I don't have another white card, right? Yeah, I dropped at 0-1 to change the sideboard. So we've played 8 matches. 4.5 hours. Alright, they did Jace. And they didn't cast it. I would have conceded if they cast it, so that's something. Why Opt over Consider? So I want you to ask yourself, why would you play Consider over Opt? I know we have one Logic Knot, and it's kind of the only answer, but there's no reason to play Consider over Logic Knot. Besides that, you're going to be just milling stuff that you need later in the game. Yeah, the fact that they didn't cast the Jace is kind of wild. The disrespect, huh? Maybe I've kept the Omen there. I'm gonna bottom it. Drew one anyways. You find some removal. Hard to imagine this Teferi can stick. Gotta graveyard that against the Ragavan. No matchup is probably unwinnable. Rest in Peace doesn't do enough for the sideboard. You could play Rest in Peace. I would board getting exactly Living End and Murktide. Maybe occasionally another matchup. Maybe, yeah, probably not Scam because just all your removal exiles anyways. Jeff, 35 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Graveyard's a Spell Pierce. That card would have been insane here, so I don't know. Feeling bad. Yeah, maybe Scales. Yeah, I would probably bring it in Scales. How am I only at? I'm at 9 still. I've been hit so many times. 2 Terminuses, please. So, do I keep the Scalding Tarn? I think I almost feel like I just need to like Miracle Terminus, untap Miracle Terminus. I also go to Teferi with Counterspell up. I'm just like, they just have so many counterspells here. It's I don't feel like I could, like, the fact that I can Terminus with a Counterspell up matters. What the? It resolved? It resolved and you didn't cast Jace. Paid actor. Maybe a misclick. Subtlety. The hand's like all removal, so definitely bounce Omen. Took a whole bottle of Pedialyte today. Never would I have ever thought they graveyarded a Spell Pierce, dude. What is their hands? More Ragavan? I guess another Ragavan makes sense. If they when they dash Ragavan again, I think I just use Counterspell. Because it's like these are weird because of Terminus, like, and Counterspells in the deck against the dash Ragavan. Let's play the Counterspell instead of Terminus here. I bought him both of those. Yeah, all Ragavan makes sense. There's my Counterspell. Like, now I can't end of turn opt. Not a huge deal. Teferi, Jace, Solitude. I'll take Counterbalance. Could be dying to bolts shortly. Maybe just not crack fetch, use Omen. How many times did my opponent hit me with that turn 1 Ragavan? Like 4? Would a logic not that be reasons why? I mean, I would have said that, but we have one logic not in the deck. That's not, in my opinion, not enough to justify consider over opt when you'll graveyard like this kind of stuff. The one logic not just like almost never has trouble countering anything. They exile lightning bolts, which is kind of good news for me. I'm gonna cast Opt, draw Jace, cast Jace, Terminus on top with the ability to opt into Terminus. Scared of lightning bolts. I need to blind flip. Solitude would have been a nice draw for turn. We do flip it too. Love Counterbalance so much. Okay, so we go Counterbalance, then Terminus. Pass. Remember my opponent cast Ragavan on turn 1, hit me 4 times, decided not to cast Jace. What a game. Would have loved if they cast a Counterspell, obviously. Looks like a Murktide. Yeah, also, there's Ragavan, Murktide, one other card. Gonna bounce the Murktide, probably. Do I still have my red surveil land? I do. Upkeep Omen. Yeah, seems fine. Cast the Omen, I think. Oh yeah, the red surveil land's gone. Good catch. Got monkeyed. Interesting. Probably a good call to use this. Okay, yeah, let's still upkeep the Omen. Not sure my opponent's last card is. It could actually be another Ragavan, like Ragavan or land. Keep this. It's an extra Omen. Now we brainstorm looking for Solitude. Find Solitude. They've already used one Subtlety. If they have Subtlety, they might. I mean, I guess I'm just dead to Subtlety. If I crack the fetch, I Solitude, then just cast it, attack me for 3. Kaheera. Kaheera's kind of interesting. A Kaheera Teferi bounce. Pitch. Yeah, that's a response. I'm just gonna keep it. Okay, I guess we could have Teferi'd, played around that. Tough card to play around. Weird way to lose this game. Weird way to lose this game. Yeah, we go Teferi, bounce, Kaheera, would probably win. Could lose to Bolt. They're a weird metagame to main deck Stern Scolding too. Doesn't seem like very good in the main deck. Yeah, I guess it's my fault, huh? Yeah, we could have maybe snuffed it out because like they their last card had to be like another Ragavan or land, but Scolding also could be on that list. Main deck Scolding stock these days. I don't know. I think it's bad. I think main deck Scolding should not be main deck in this Rhino's Domain Zoo metagame. It's not dead against Domain Zoo. It's not very good against it. Not very good against Titan either. Not very good against Living End. Like good against Yogg and Scales, and it's okay in the mirror. It's okay against Rectos. It's good against Rectos. Just doesn't feel like a card I'd want to main deck. But Murktide players are also like really scared of Bowmasters, so it is what it is. It's a hard card to play around, but it's definitely possible to play around it there. Like possible to read it. Keeping. I haven't seen a Bowmaster all day either. Need lands. If they Ragavan on 1, I'm kind of tempted to just slam the Counterbalance. Probably should Oust opt. Channeler, I'm definitely slamming Counterbalance. $19. I think we've seen zero salts Tidebinders today. Tidebinder's a lot less popular because the Rhinos deck, like the rainbow version, isn't main decking it. Not that they can't. They maybe could be, but they have not been. Okay, I'm gonna keep the land on top, and then I'm gonna draw it off the opt. Okay, I think good Flusterstorm here. Although they probably just let me resolve this Teferi. Maybe they have land and another 1-mana counterspell. It's also like that counterbalance is a May ability, so like you just like it really should just not be a May ability. Your opponent should just always be able to like check and see what's on top. Yeah, we're not playing Oust over Path to Exile, we're playing it over Prismatic Ending, but it is. We've also watched this game. You notice how my opponent doesn't have a bunch of extra lands in play. So 1-drop counters Channeler. Hey, opponent pretty locked. Probably going to game 3 in a second. More like 5 seconds, I guess. Game 3, let's go. It is weird to me that so many people like. If I had 4 prismatic endings in my deck right now. If I had 4 prismatic endings in my deck right now, nobody would ask me why I'm playing prismatic ending over Path. And obviously, like you can think prismatic ending is better than Oust, but like we've probably had like literally like 20 to 30 questions why Oust over Path to Exile, and I haven't seen a single person ask why Oust over prismatic ending. It's kind of a weird thing, huh? But if I had prismatic ending instead, we probably have zero people ask about Path to Exile. I get to resolve our counterbalance. Yeah, the 2014 metagame will haunt everyone forever. And the 19. A little bit scared of Blood Moon, but could blind flip it. Guess I didn't fetch. Or I guess I didn't fetch it at all. I'm feeling a blind flip here. Why else over Condemn? Condemn is like so bad against specifically Yawgmoth, where like you can't condemn their mana dorks, you can't condemn Bowmasters, you can't condemn Yawgmoth. It's also really bad against Scales for similar reasons. But I don't think you want to play it, but that's why I don't condemn. So they exile a Burntide Regent that they can't play here. We're going to prioritize getting a basic plains off the Strand. That's also it's also bad against Titan, but Oust is also bad against Titan, but Oust is better against like Dryad. I'm trying to think if there's another scenario with like probably not, but a similar like hard comparison thing. Maybe I'll get a Surveil this turn. We'll see. If they like spell pierce this, I definitely will. They lightning bolts. I mean, I really want a 1 on top, so I think I might as well Surveil now. That stack. Get 3 looks at a 1-drop? 4 looks, I guess. Top card right now is the Thundering Falls. Of course, not the end of the world if we miss. I might Solitude the Chandler too, let's see. Let's Solitude it. To announce they gain less life, and I want to play Jace on a empty-ish board. And I'm gonna fetch planes here because I'm still a little bit scared of like random Blood Moon being cast next turn. Despite like losing the fetch for Jace, I still have like Thundering Falls too. Jace the Mind Sculptor is a lot better when you have Counterbalance in play. Okay, lost a Heartbreaker to Living End, then farmed 2 Murktide Gamers. I don't think you want to play Bobble. Bobble is kind of interesting though. It's kind of tough to have all the extra zeros in the deck for Counterbalance. You do have to think about your mana values for Counterbalance. One thing that's fun is like Terminus being 6 is weirdly relevant in the Leyline Binding Primeval Titan format too. To make Leyline Binding 2 costs to make work. We're playing against Lutri. Let's go, dude. One mulligan. Yeah, so like one thing is you want a ton of Surveil lands, which doesn't really work very well with a plan of playing like 2 Triumphs for Leyline Binding. And then also like you have so many 2s in this deck. We have 4 Counterspell, 5 Counterspells actually, Counterbalance, Omen of the Sea, and Leyline Binding is sometimes they kind of know as a 1 for mana curve considerations. I think it would play a lot like a 2, so I think you're better off without it, despite me genuinely thinking that that is a very good card. They can play 4 Urza Saga decks, even though they have 4 Urza Sagas, despite the fact that they have Lutri, which is kind of fun. Seek the Beast into Shielder's Edict, Bloodstained Mind. Okay, that is one thing about Lutri decks is they're usually like full of removal spells, and so probably a good matchup for us. Maybe like Jund Lutri with like Urza Saga, 4 Urza Sagas. I tried to build like an artifact-based Lutri deck with 4 Urza Sagas one time. It was like missing like 5 cards or something. And ideally, like cards that care about. I actually keep both these. Cards that care about instants and sorceries. Or sorry, instants and sorceries that care about artifacts. Yeah, every time someone registers a Lutri, everyone cheers for the Lutri gamer, as it should be. They have a Loam, 4 Urza Sagas. Let's, I guess, not get got by. They're almost for sure main deck Mythic Needle. That. What's my plan against Tron? Lose. Tron is like really not popular. I'm okay. Having a bad Tron matchup. 3-drop, 3-drop, 3-drop. Yes. Ew. Sorry, Lutri Gamer. What inspired the Miracles deck at the moment? The Surveillance are so good in the deck. Surveillance are like very good in general, and they also like just kind of are like what Miracles needed was more like top of library manipulation, and you play 5 Surveil lands and 10 fetch lands. All of a sudden, you have 15 extra ways to manipulate the top of your library with that don't even cost you cards or spells. Second Saga. Top card is Omen of the Seas. I will kindly let my opponent resolve Ragavan. Although maybe I will cast Opt so that they don't get to cast Omen. Okay, they're attacking Teferi, so it's not done. I'll draw the Omen though. Still lucky to draw their one of Ragavan. Position of an F6. I would have opted and drawn the Omen, just a free roll of 1. Sacks the research decks, reveals another Saga and a Wooded Foothills. I'm doing well, Bajan. Hope you are too. I might play the coat deck in the challenge. I'm gonna play a blue-white deck in the challenge this weekend. Yeah, let's cash it in Omen. We're going to play this. I would really like to draw a land here so that I can Miracle Terminus. There's my land, so I think I'm just not going to use this rail land here. Didn't need to fetch both here, but I don't think my opponent's playing any counter magic. Free roll a 1-drop. They're 1 of Lightning Bolt. So lucky. Although they're also just not making a construct here. I guess I'm going to leave a 1 on top and then Terminus underneath that. What's the win con? We have 4 Jaces, 4 Solitudes, and a Kaheera. We can't Miracle now. I can Miracle the following turn. I don't want to Miracle now. There's no creatures in play. I didn't even make a construct there. They weren't able to make a construct end of turn. It's just like, we don't want to. Just leave a 1 on top for counterbalance. Make a Miracle later. Entreat bad? Unfortunately, it is. I used to play Entreat in Modern Miracles back when like Mystic Sanctuary was legal. Mystic Sanctuary was also another good reason to play Entreat because you could like pick it up and then Entreat it. But it was also like somewhat relevant to be able to close games with Entreat. But now you just have 4 Solitudes in your deck, so not super relevant. Yeah, I'll probably end up going opt into Miracle Terminus on my opponent's turn. But I don't just have 2 like clogged up Terminuses. I really wish Lutri was better. I would be not unhappy if you could just not if Lutri if Lutri was an exception to the companion nerf. You know, if you just got to actually have an 8th card in your hand. Or if it was like a 3/4, 4/3, 4/4. Probably not 4/4. Thing. It's like a little better. Let's see what the top card is. It is an Oust. I don't really want to oust Questing Druid. Maybe we should have countered. I'll probably be okay ousting. I don't want to let this resolve, so let's see if we flip it to. If we do flip it to, it's a counterbalance. How much mana do I have? I have 7. What about Omen here? 6 mana, 1 for 1. Counterspell. Which companions would have been okay to have the 8th card? Just Lutri, Amori? Probably Lutri and Amori, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would list a different part on that list. There's a Jace the Mind Sculptor on top, but I guess I have to counterspell because Ragavan can clear it. Last untap fetchable. Exile everything for fun and Tarmogoyf. Garuda because no 1-drops. Yeah, I mean, maybe Garuda. I mean, Garuda was like a very... No, Garuda's Broken Legacy card. You just like LED, turn 1 Garuda. That was such a sick deck. Like Garuda, like I think the Garuda deck was not that explored, but I remember at one point thinking that there was like a pretty good chance that Garuda was like the best companion in Legacy. Like I remember thinking like Zerda was like banned because of the Basalt Monolith combo really fast, and I remember thinking that the Garuda deck was better than the Zerda deck. Okay, we're on the draw against Zerda. Got 4 Urza Sagas in their deck though, so I'm gonna bring in these Wear Tears. Scolding also probably very good against them. Trim an Oust in the Ops. Maybe 1 Teferi, 3 Teferi, 1 Opt. Everybody also played 3rd Scolding. Yeah, I mean they just have like they're just like we saw so many cards, or maybe not so many, but they're playing Ragavan, Bowmaster, Lutri. Yeah, maybe I'm actually just going to. Counterspells aren't very good versus Saga. Yeah, they're good against spells though. You can show a Counterspell. I'm not going to though. I think. Well, maybe we'll play 4th Teferi over the Knot. My green splash for Pick Your Poison. Yeah, so I ended up thinking about it some more. So like, I think that I would rather have Wear Tear over Pick Your Poison, where it's like it's better. I think it's better against. It's obviously better against Amulet Titan, and then against the Rainbow Rhino deck, I would rather have Wear Tear over Pick Your Poison also because it's a 3 for counterbalance. It's also instant speed, which is I think better in that matchup. Although Pick Your Poison can kill Scion with the Leyline in play, Wear Tear you have to kill the Leyline first, which is usually okay. But having 3s in your deck, I think matters a lot in that matchup because they just have like Tiebinder and Flame of Venor. You want to have like a lot of 3s to flip over with Counterbalance. When I was watching you playing Orca Days, you said printing more Companion was an option to bounce check existing ones. I don't know if I ever said that. I actually would be surprised. I believe you. I said it, but I think the one thing is like the companions are so wildly unpopular. Like it would be a huge mistake to print them. Like genuinely, just on like a popularity level, companions are like the most hated card type ever, possibly. And I probably hate them a little less than the average gamer, but it would be a big misread of the room. Crypticode Ephemerate, Witch's Cottage, Persist Archon. I think it's probably too many pieces to really be in on. We've been playing this kind of Esper Persist no Archon deck for a while that kind of feels and looks okay. We played Stoneforge in that deck and we were 2-1 and I dropped to go eat lunch, but and I kind of regretted not finishing that league, but I was really hungry that day. Thanks my Jace. Injured 25 months, they go come back. I like, to some extent, like, if every companion was like Obosh, Gyruda, Umori, Lutri, if they were like that power level, I think maybe people would have a different opinion on the power level. Although Lutri is also like banned in Commander, so maybe not Lutri on the list. But they were definitely way too pushed. My deck is pretty bad against Planeswalkers. I don't know how I'm beating this. Although, it kind of feels good to lose to Chandra, Torch of Defiance. To be honest. Oh, Teferi stops Chandra from casting spells at least. Yeah, I know why Lutri's banned, but was it a mistake to print Lutri as it is? A card that is like Lutri is a card that is mostly appealing in EDH, I feel, and it just can't be played in EDH. Also, like should Commander decks get to play companions in the first place because they don't have sideboards? Should Commander decks have sideboards? I think yeah, they should, but like wish card stuff. But I know some people allow that. It was good to lose to this Chandra Ultimate. People conflate design and development. If the companions were never tier 1, people would love them. Yeah. Also, okay, could you elaborate on conflate design and development? Because I don't exactly understand. Because I would think that isn't it all the same process? Or I just love to hear the nitty gritties on the differences, I guess. Design is conceptual, development is balance. Okay. That's a good way to put it. Go, Solitude, go. Alright, game 2. Or game 3. Literally soloed by Chandra Torture Defiance. Feels good. Let's get this extra logic not back in. Maybe I also want a Needle. Needle can name Chandra or it can name There's a Saga. Although I don't know if I really want to be like blind kneeling Chandra with Needle. Phyrexian mana. Yeah, Phyrexian mana is a really good example too, because like they brought back Phyrexian mana, and it's incredibly balanced, and like no card is playable because they're way too scared to make them playable. But, like Phyrexian mana is only broken really on 1 mana cards that become 0 mana. Like it's that's really the only time the Phyrexian spells have been broken. It's like specifically Gitaxian Probe, but like yeah, it's yeah, Gitaxian Probe is like the only good Phyrexian spell. Was Birthing Pot. Either hitter there, Surgical, got Shudder kind of whatever. Dismember, yeah, Dismember's kind of problematic, but that's more of like a color pyre thing. Like you could have just pretty easily made Dismember like black Phyrexian mana. Oh, Mental Misstep, dude! I forgot Mental Misstep. To be fair, I've like basically never played with her against the card, but yeah, I did totally forget Mental Misstep. Yeah. Dismember, do I think it's kind of a problematic card. If it was just black mana, Phyrexian, black, it would just be an incredible design. Just kind of a miss overall. There is a 1 mana white Phyrexian spell, but like, you know, a lot of white cards in cycles, pretty forgettable. Trying to spell this. Yeah, Marrow Shards. What a card, huh? They have 1 Chandra in their deck. If they have land Chandra, beats. Probably a little less cold to it this game, anyways. 1 Phyrexian plus black would be unplayable. Well, I mean, like instead of a generic mana Phyrexian black, it should have been. Oh, there's the Chandra. Although I'm gonna be better at beating at this game, especially if I surveil into a land right now. Makes 2 mana. A lightning bolts. That's worse because now they can get their spells off the Chandra. Getting Lutried, huh? We don't draw the land. I'm gonna play my Counterbalance. They plus and they reveal Tireless Tracker. What years? Is Gleaming Geardrake a card you're working with? We played like Teamer Scales, splashing for Geardrake. They choose to not play Tireless Tracker. Who are you, opponent? They can play Tasigur instead. Top card is Omen of the Sea, not Terminus. How do I beat this Chandra ult? I guess they only have 2 cards in their hand, though. I'm gonna Omen in response. I really need to cast a Solitude next turn. Bottom 2 non-lands, draw a land, flip it to Teferi. Oh, guess my opponent didn't get that part of the script. Yeah, they are down to no cards in their hand. So if I have two like lifelinking Solitudes, I could unironically see beating this. Discarding the. I guess I might discard Counterspell so I can Surveil plus Hardcast Solitude next turn. My opponent flips over Veil of Summer, deals me 2. They have 1 card in their hand. They play Blood Crypt tapped. Thankfully, they do this first so that I can cast Solitude and not get hit by the Tasigur. So let's just not waste any time and do this now. My opponent will either activate Tasigur or put Lutri into their hand. Be pretty okay if they activated Tasigur, seeing that Engineered Explosives chilling over there. Maybe they thought I didn't treat in their deck or something, in my deck or something. Opponent decides to not be the first person to activate Tasigur in years, and we get to stop Chandra from ultimating. But they have this. Yeah, I guess I should probably Kaheera this turn, especially with a card that's good to discard to Chandra. Up against a Lutri deck. Lutri Drund. There's Lutri, new card. Maybe Chandra into something. Unearth the research desk before possibly pressing the Chandra. They research desk into Pyrite Spellbomb and Blackleaf Cliffs. Pyrite Spellbomb is a very good hit here, unfortunately. Although I could maybe counterbalance it if I got lucky. No, or did I? There's a Delta on top. I can't remember if that was a no thing or not. We lose our board. Specs me for 2. Good Mistress Research Desk. Full game. Plus Chandra, reveal basic forest, deals me 2 down to 11. There's Lutri, 2 mystery cards. We're gonna discard one of them right now. The Seiju. Seiju is pretty relevant here, so that last card must be good. I'm gonna cast my Solitude. And then maybe I'll upkeep sack Omen. Maybe I'll just also take a draw step. Oh. Kolagon's command? Wait, they can't. Their Kolagon's command is exiled, so not that. Lutri? They're just playing Lutri, so I guess let's hopefully surveil into a 3. I have like 6 3s in the deck, 5 3s in the deck. Oust on top? Okay, I guess we have to draw that. So Oust, Lutri, attack Liliana. I hate having to attack Liliana, but they're just gonna get to evict it. Yeah, I played like 3 matches of the Esper Persist Blade. Went 2-1, and I dropped to eat lunch. Wait, Chandra, my Solitude. How many Solitudes do I have left? I also have a Needle. I did bring in a Needle. I think I have 2 left. Yeah, 2 left. Looks like it. They're gonna play their last card before. What, 6 mana? Expel. Rakdos? Gurmag Gungar. Okay, so I guess I'll just look at what my top card is. It's an island. I don't have any 7s, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I can't flip or anything. So drawing a Solitude would be pretty clutch. I'm gonna bottom the Oust. Oust is a losing battle. I need like Teferi, Solitude, Jace, or like nothing else. Drawing Lutri next turn, right? Main phase because of Teferi, Jace. Teferi only now. That's the Jace. Unfortunately, I can't keep it on top because because they can Lily on it. Bottomed both, drew Jace anyways. I think we're losing to Chandra Liliana. Which, you know, hard to be too upset. Try to claw our way out of this. Not impossible to win. Like if I scry Jace or Teferi to the top right now, counter the Lutri, that's a start. Okay, so we go scry Weretear to the top, counter Lutri. Then next turn we go upkeep, scry. I think it was just taking 10 from the Murktide, I guess, but. Yeah, I don't know. We get to upkeep, scry that Weretear away. Maybe we could see like Solitude, but Needle on Chandra is kind of nice. Don't even have enough mana for Solitude, I guess. Yeah, I mean, not dead. Obviously, they can't top deck anything relevant. They discard Unholy Heat. Attack me with Gurbag Angler down to 1. Draw to Solitude is the best draw still, but I have a lot of ways to Jace, Teferi, Oust, Terminus. I counterspell the Gurbag Angler. Yeah, that would have been a cool comeback though. Imagine these two cards were just in the other order. Although I guess if they plus though, I guess plus discard the card they draw. I'll just get rid of my counterspell. Never look. Never look. Kind of feels like a good stopping point, despite us being 2-2. We're 5-5 on the day, which is not great after our 5-0 stream. There were 2 matches though. One against Domain Zoo where they like went reprieve into stub, and the match against Living End where felt like we were just like so ahead, and then like everything started to like just go so perfectly. I would play the deck again. I think I'm still like may talk myself into playing it in the challenge this Saturday. Maybe I'll play Coat Blade instead. I have 2 other cool decks for tomorrow at least. Gonna try to get a third prepped for tomorrow. It's Insidious Roots. It's definitely starting with the new Insidious Roots deck tomorrow. Gonna try to play test it some more off stream tonight. Then probably the Thoughtbound Phantasm Surveil deck after, and I'll have a third